it's more than an honor to be here. It's a privilege to be here. And I feel honored when you messaged me. I'm ready to do this. I'll make it really brief because I think we have really important things to talk about that are not me. But just to make it brief, each tattoo was a commitment to a lesson that I learned about life. And I knew that if I tattooed it, I may not forget it, although you do forget it still. Mm-hmm. You know, the face tattoos came from brushing my teeth and making sure I never forget whatever I wrote on my face. But that's a myth. You stop not seeing yourself after a while. So every tattoo is some sort of a lesson earned and learned with a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, you know? And so I wanted to make sure that my commitment to the lesson was so much that the universe didn't feel like it needed to repeat the lesson on me again. So I can tell you I've made a lot of mistakes, and that's what these tattoos are. They're testaments to all the mistakes I've made, the lessons I've learned, but I haven't made the same mistake twice. So just like you said I've been studying you for a long time now. Yeah. You're not. You watched a few videos. Yeah. Every single person that you know, starting with yourself, as you were saying, and him, is struggling in their relationship. I don't care what they look like. Floyd Mayweather is struggling in his relationship. Sean Strickland is struggling. Dana White is struggling. You name a man, I'll tell you he's struggling because they have the wrong information. Like the moment you started speaking about your situation, I asked my students, I said, what's the first mistake? And everybody answered. Did you know that was a mistake? I'm not airing anything until you say it, but I'm being general. Yeah, no, did you know it was a mistake to do that? Why'd you do it knowing it was a mistake, or did you not know it was a mistake? Would you do that in your podcast? Would you make a mistake in your business like that, knowing it's a mistake that's going to destroy your podcast? But why would you do it in that relationship? That's what I'm trying to get to. Because everyone does it. You know why? Because they go unconscious. And they seek the love of their mother. Yeah. And that's what you were doing. Yeah. She's not your mom. She was your woman. Yeah. But you never made her your woman. You see that? You made her your partner. Did you use the word partner with her? Did you ever consider her your partner? The answer is already yes. Yeah. Because a no is a no. If you ask me, I would say no, never. So if you have to think about it, that means you thought about her as a partner. She's not your partner. This is all false information. The world is wrong when it comes to men and women. They're wrong. Yeah. They're wrong because they're not fulfilled. I'm fulfilled. My students are fulfilled. My girlfriend's fulfilled, right? And you're so smart. You're charismatic. There's so many good qualities about you that if a woman missed out on you, she really made a big mistake. And I hope she burns in her hell for that. She has to. Because all of us need to burn in our hell to come out of it. Maybe then you guys get some tattoos too. But the reality of it is, you told me about this guy, the real estate tattooed guy. And as those words enter the air, what happens in my mind, you know what goes through my mind? I don't know him, but I think of him as a joke. He's a joke to me because of what you said. Well, people, hey, I don't give a, what you, I don't even care what I look like to you. Right. Who cares? Okay. So if the dude's going around, you know, oh, I'm tattooed. So what's your point? What's your point? Right? To start the podcast and say he looks different, tattooed or whatever. What's your point? If I was a black guy, would you go, he's a black guy? No, because there's a lot of black people, okay? What about if I was purple or orange or whatever? Oh, well, he's kind of purple. It makes no difference. It makes no difference on the character. And when these guys are going around and they're going viral or doing whatever, every single one of them, a bunch of just simple-minded sheep. I have not seen, I asked you who your favorite podcast was that you said, right? And you told me who it was. I've watched him. He's weak. He's just weak. Do you know what weak means? No strength, no spine, nothing to stand on. Now, I'm talking a lot of shit. It's like, well, you know, what do we stand on? I'll tell you what I stand on. I'm the one man that won't break no matter what you put in front of me, especially women. And I'll break you, and I'll break you. I'll break him and him and him, and I'll break you with a beautiful woman. Because you haven't handled your shit yet. Am I wrong? Every man who sat here before me, you could break him with a woman. If 5 beautiful women walked in bikinis and bras and they give him some attention, watch your last strong guest look like a little beach, right? I don't want to say little beach, right? Watch your last guest look like a little beach. This is the truth. And you guys are all lying. All you podcasters are lying. Every one of you. I watch you guys. Yeah. Get with it. You have a chance. You have a fucking audience, and you guys are going over there just still going around in these circles trying to be fucking politically correct. Fuck you and fuck your politics. Right. Are you okay with the way life is? Are you okay with the bitch leaving you yesterday? This fucking hoe after 6 fucking months leaves you, fucking bitch. Fuck her. Burn, bitch. I hope you're watching. If I'm wrong, tell me. I am more than willing to be corrected because that's how I got here. If I'm wrong, tell me. But if I'm right, tell me too. That's the thing. Am I right or am I wrong? Am I just opinionating because I'm speaking with so much passion you know, I can calm it down very differently and not speak to you like that. But do you want a good podcast? Do you want another pussy to sit up here and be politically correct or just stretch a little bit? Just stretch a little bit? Or can I just give you my fucking soul for a second and you can decide whether or not this is a real person talking real shit or not? This has to be the #1 show you've ever done or anybody's ever done. Jumper 21 and fucking all those guys that are the top guys right now. This one is singeing them. They don't have someone who could sit there and speak with so much truth and just not give a fuck what anybody thinks to say that the world is fucked up. Let's get with it. If you're a man, get your balls and let's go. Why are you guys sitting around watching the world burn? Let's start with, she's not your partner. She's your woman. My field is the dynamics of man and woman. Every man saying that your woman is your partner, you're making a mistake. And if she insists on that, she's making a mistake and the mistake needs to stop. That's your woman. That's your woman. Your woman. Your last name goes on her. You don't take her last name. And if she keeps her last name, don't marry her. Don't marry her. And if she has guy friends, don't marry her.
Right.
And if she has an Instagram with guys liking her picture, don't marry her. But if you find one that doesn't have that, marry her right away. Start teaching these women how to be women. If he's prepared, of course, he has to be prepared. But we're not, you know how far we are from marriage right now? I'm saying it just so people know, you know, I believe in marriage. I believe in monogamy. I believe in any kind of ogamy because we're sovereign beings. You have to decide with your girl what's right, no matter what I say. I've just observed that men want to be with multiple women. Have you noticed that? Have you noticed that men want to be with more than one woman? Men have to first separate these dynamics. Man and woman are separate. Children and adults are separate. Elderly and non-elderly. We need to go back to these traditional values and separate ourselves. There should be a space where men can be men and women can be women. Children can be children. Children should always be supervised with adults. Like the basics that every human being knows. We're going around apologizing for that shit just because a bunch of fucking freaks decide that they're non-binary or 400 fucking different verses. I don't give up. You know what? You could be whatever you want to be and that's fine.
Right.
That's the whole point, right? Just shut the fuck up. No one needs to know. Why is your sexuality my business? That's what I want to know. Who talks about what goes on in the fucking bedroom except a weird pervert?
Yeah.
It is nobody's business what happens in the bedroom. No, I don't want to know who the president's fucking. I don't want to know who the fucking janitor's fucking. I don't want to know who anybody's fucking except my girl and me. That's the only business I have when it comes to sex. And that's everyone's business. Yet everywhere you look, they've made sex everyone's business. No one gives a shit. And so everybody's walking around. First thing they're doing is judging people on their sexual behavior. I don't care if you be gay all day long. Go fuck each other in the butt, love each other, suck each other. It's fantastic. But don't talk about it. It's rude. It's basic decency.
Right.
We lost basic decency around each other. I had a teacher, his name was Manu Tupo. He was a great man. And he's the one that blew my mind to be able to speak so freely and see the power of artistic expression. Art is very valuable. You know, it's one of the most valuable things in the world. And so Manu always told me, look at his prophecy. Sit in front of the camera, speak your truth, and they will not be able to deny you. So he passed away, and for about 4 years, I was pretty depressed. And then one day he was in my mind. And I remember before he passed away, he said to me, get in front of the camera, speak your truth. So I did a YouTube video and I said, I want to tell you about this man that I met, Manu Tupo, and let me celebrate him. So I did a video about an hour and a half. I just spoke. Then I got good responses. Next day I spoke again and I never stopped speaking. That was years ago, over a decade at least. So that's how it happened. I did a video about this man who told me one day to get in front of the camera and speak. And I did it to honor his spirit because he was in my mind so much that day. Originally, it started as Integrated Martial Arts Concepts Academy, a martial arts academy. It became a worldwide movement through YouTube and Facebook, and now Instagram, TikTok, and stuff. So IMC Nation now stands for International Masters Council. Every man here in the background is a professional in some field. That's the requirement. You gotta be a professional to be here with me, around me. And we've all get together every single day and we mastermind. And we've been doing it for so many years. That's why I can see there with so much confidence. These words that you're hearing right now, woo, I sleep with these words for the last 30 years. I'm doing this podcast and me, myself, as an astral body, I'm on another planet exploring. This takes zero effort for me. I have zero nervousness. I have no worries about any of this shit. This is for me as easy, as simple as breathing, as my heartbeat, as opening and closing my eyes and sitting here and nodding. This is me. So what's that all about? That's IMC Nation. We get together as men, brilliant men, and we discuss ideas. So I have God tattooed on my forehead here. A lot of people don't see it in all the lost, in all the tattoos, but I started looking for God at a very young age. Very young. I mean, if I had to put an age, it would be in the below 5 sometime. But I grew up in a religious, well, my dad wasn't religious at all, but my mom was. But I was religious. My soul, I was religious. So I've been looking for God for a long time. And that question, my belief, is what drives me. It's what gives me the courage to sit here and talk the shit that I dare say what I want to say, because any man of God knows. That's the thing, right? Who's going to judge me? Okay. So nobody. I mean, they can, but it doesn't matter. So, my relationship with God is here's what I have right now. I want you to know that I think about it 24 hours a day. I want you to know that I don't do anything without God in my mind, including sit here and do exactly what I'm doing. Even the decision to turn off those cameras and all that was that. And so I have a 24-hour relationship. However, if you ask me who or what God is, I don't know. So this is fascinating. It drives me crazy. I've gone nuts looking for God. And I understand Rumi, this poet, really well. I feel like him. I have the deepest heartbreak that any man could ever feel. I was a martial artist my whole life, and that was my passion. But behind it, I was lying to myself. I was always thinking about women, and I discovered that all men are like that. So once I realized that, I did what I've always done, which is, I learned martial arts really well because I was bullied and beat up. I learned how to communicate so well because I came from another country and I couldn't express myself. And so I decided to understand how to interact with a woman so that I don't suffer anymore, just like all the other stuff. And that's what got me started with women. And the more I got deeper into that, the more I realized the proper way to get women is to change your own character. I don't change the woman. She changes in front of me like this. Because she's a reflection of me. So it became the greatest self-help activity I've ever done. I'm addicted to the evolution of the mind and myself, because I believe if there is a God, and I know there is a God, whatever that is, that concept, I have some ideas about it, but whatever it is that's higher than me, I'm sure would acknowledge and praise its creation if his creation was trying to get better. And so I found, for me as a man, and for many others now, that the fastest way to character development is women. And that's why I know that every man who sits in this chair before me is not strong enough with women, because I could hear it in their voice. You got to really sit there and become conscious that not the story you're telling yourself, but what it is a stranger who you've known for 6 months has decided to not spend their life with you. And you got to feel that pain, like for real, because it does hurt. And you got to tell yourself, do you respect your father, by the way? These words won't be for everybody, but we're talking you and I. So don't ever disrespect your father's spirit by letting a woman who's so ignorant make you feel less. She doesn't have that much weight. You're giving her weight. She's not real gold. She's gold-plated. Number 2, you need some guy friends, because men are very strong in tribes. And it's something now, you develop the eyesight when you do what I do for a long time. You start seeing it. And so one of the first things I see when guys, I have men from every field, bro. It's incredible. It's my friends. And I can tell when a guy doesn't belong to a tribe. If you ever interview a real gangster, like a real gangster, or like a real mobster, there's a feeling of people behind him you can feel. He's been around men day in and day out and had to, or let's say a champion wrestler in a wrestling team, or a jiu-jitsu fighter, if he's been part of a team that they had to travel together, eat together, be uncomfortable together, defend together, that's what men are. We go to the gym when we leave. Our tribe is outside. So one thing about IMC Nation is, like, we just moved to Vegas, right? Over 40 guys and coming still. Listen, 8 houses, I'm about to tell you, 8 houses of just men, 4 or 5 get together. I live with 4 of them. There's all bases. And we live together and we focus and we work and we're on our process. Healthy mind, healthy body, healthy relationships. Some are married and they still live at the base no longer with their wives, and their wives are happier. Many have multiple girlfriends. I'm not the only guy anymore with multiple girlfriends. Many. Without the men as a bonding camaraderie, couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. That's why I keep getting stronger. Every one person that says, IMC Nation, me, AZD, gets one step bigger. I'm a giant right now. I'm a giant because I stand on the shoulders of IMC Nation. So this is so cool. If we have, let me name some people I highly admire that live in Vegas. Floyd Mayweather. I admire him greatly. If we have Floyd Mayweather sit here and we said that he's a boxing champion, undefeated, blah, blah, blah. And then there was another group of men sitting there. And then we said, we all can kind of guess the path it takes become a world champion. We can see you got to go to the gym. You got to get up early, diet. Got that? Floyd Mayweather. Now we're going to move into the side. Let's bring a musician. Let's say Eminem. I admire Eminem. He sits here. Great. One of the greatest rappers ever lived. There's men out there. They go, well, now that I heard Eminem, I want to be one of the greatest rappers. So I'm going to go rap battle. I'm going to write every day. I'm going to show up to the studio. There's a path. There's a path for the fighter, musician, businessman. We put here Jordan Belfort, another guy I admire. And he's like, you could be a billionaire, whatever the hell. And they go, okay, I got to work hard. I got to learn sales. Got that? All right, here we go. If Mystery, my teacher, Eric Von Markovic, if he was sitting here, I would tell you, I walked the path he laid out for me. And I became, at some point, a master pickup artist. If my teacher, Sandra Batata, shout out to Sandra Batata, was sitting here, jiu-jitsu, I can tell you, I'm his first black belt. So I followed the steps he did with his teacher. He's the first black belt under Gordo. Shout out Gordo. But now, to your question, what does Raj... Right. I'm sitting here, ready? And there's going to be an audience. And this is the proper introduction for me. Founder of a worldwide men's movement that's growing every day. Ready? Now, find the path to get here. Start. I'm going to sit back and there'll be a panel that tells young men how to start a movement because you speak. Can you tell me? Do you go to the gym for that? Do you read a book, philosophy? You make a YouTube video? Well, how does one start a movement? 8 houses here. Hashtag IMC Nation. Look it up. It's everywhere. You can't even imagine how big it is right now, actually. So where is the path to get here? Ready? The answer to your question is it must come from above. And so what do? You ask me to get someone out of that? The same thing that jumped me here without a path that I can lay for anybody is the same thing that sees what I need to see and tells me what to say. And I have no other explanation. I can't tell you it's a book I read. It's the technique because you're blinking. It's not that. I know it when I know it. And when I know it, there's no doubting it. There's just no doubting it. You know, we came to Las Vegas off of one moment of one vision. Nobody ever thought, I never thought I would leave San Jose. I finished teaching class. That's Yogi Chris. He was in the kitchen. He lives with me. From the seat to the kitchen, I saw in one moment where we are right now. In one moment. And I said to him, well, bro, we got to move. What do you think about Vegas? How many days later, how many days from that day were we in Vegas fully moved? Do you guys remember? 3 weeks. On the 3rd week, we were based in Vegas in our own residence. Within 1 month, 8 houses here. How does that happen? That's why I spoke the way I spoke in the beginning. Because if I don't, the consequences are much greater. What the truth is that's coming out of my soul, spilling. I've tried not doing that. I had insomnia. I was weak. I started to become a bad person. I lost a love inside my heart. My reward comes directly from up there. Nobody has the power to give me that. So since nobody has the power to give me that, they have no power to influence me any more than, you know, would you like some pizza? I don't care how shiny it is. Because I have to answer at the end of my life. I don't know what's going to happen. I know I'm not going to be in oblivion. That I can tell just my intelligence of knowing energy and soul. Too much evidence that when this body drops, I have to be aware. How aware? I don't know, bro. And it's not even about fear of me. It's the fact that I love my mom and dad so much that I don't ever want to lose contact with them. One wish from God, one wish. Keep me and my family and a few handful of people I met that were not blood together forever in a bubble. And I don't care what else happens, God. I'll sell my soul to God for that, to a devil for that, to a soapbox for that. I'll sell my soul to you for that. I'll turn gay or non-binary for that. I'll cut my legs off for that. There's nothing in this world that I wouldn't do for that one thing. And I think when a man and a woman knows what it is they really want, they can start to live fearlessly. My last student that came in class was 50. That's a young man too. Let's not think it stops at 40. The older generation of men are very alone right now. They don't even know how to use,
Yeah.
Those guys are alone, man. They got the wrong information. If you have the wrong information, no matter how hard you apply it, like if this hand is cut, but you keep ointmenting this one, it won't matter.
Yeah.
And we're so smart. Bro, the moment a man listens to me talk, one or two things are going to happen to your audience. They're going to love me or hate me. It's going to be very difficult to be neutral, right? The ones that love me are going to love me because they understand the intelligence that's speaking, because it requires that intelligence to see it, right? And that intelligence is very intelligent because I know how smart I am. So anybody who understands that and resonates with it, I'll tell them. That's who I'm here for, by the way. I'm here for the one who understands. I'm not trying to make everyone understand. The one who understands my language, he may be one person that just watches your YouTube, because every person was one person. You were one person 10 years ago when you saw the YouTube.
Yeah.
So he could be that guy. So I'm saying that for those people, the only thing I got to tell them after all these years, and I'm still in the game, bro. I'm going to go out again tonight. I'm always researching this shit. I'm obsessed. I would tell them, you just don't have the right information. I would like to use somebody that I think I should show a lot of respect to, and his name is Andrew Tate. Now, I would like to show him respect because he holds the championship belt in what I do. It would be so little of me to make him little right now when he holds the championship belt. No, he's a world champion. But remember when Mike Tyson was coming up and no one knew him? He looked at the world champion and he knew something I know. It wouldn't last more than 10 seconds. And Mike showed that. The wrong information is coming from the top, like Andrew Tate. There's just enough truth to affect you emotionally, but if you apply that with women, you're not going to be fulfilled. And we're seeking fulfillment for both of us, her and me. We both have to be fulfilled. I think he's insecure when it comes to women, and I could hear it all over his voice. And I think that he's great at what he does. But again, I have to go back to Mike Tyson, one of my heroes. He definitely showed that all the champions before him couldn't last one minute. So that's what's happening right now. This is the evolution of this art and science, because everything I have from this. I didn't make my money the way he did. If you know how he made his money, I made every penny that bought these glasses and this watch and this ring and this shirt and these shoes and that water. Every penny is because I spoke a word that someone paid to hear it again. It didn't come from anywhere else. So because of that, his information may have stopped at somewhere that the information kept evolving through me. So he has to set the stage. That's why I show him the respect I show him, because of him, I know that that's my stage. Because there's a champion, Mike Tyson can be a champion because there's a boxing ring. Because Andrew Tate is there, the entire world is going to listen to me one day. There's some basic tenets. Like, okay, that's a great question, right? There's some basic tenets. Number one is that the individual has a right to decide for himself everything. You have to take, for a man, and I'll speak again, I'm not a Christian, I'm not a Muslim, I'm not a Buddhist, but I am a Christian. Why? I believe in Christ, I believe in Muhammad, I believe in Buddha. I believe in the writings. I just don't think I'm intelligent enough to get really everything they said. So I keep studying them, but every single one of them I acknowledge, every single one of them. And they've made me greater because I've read them or studied them or heard about them or talked about them. So I would say that the first step for a man is to recognize he is a representative of God on earth, the Father. So he must have a relationship with God over everything. Now, he has to decide what that is. So we have all kinds of different denominations, IAMS Nation. We even have atheists. And I tell them, if you're an atheist, you believe in atheism, you know what I mean? I mean, that's a belief itself, because there's a jump in evolution you can't answer. We're still going to have a theory there, right? It's not as scientific as you think it is. There's proof, and there's also, you need to prove more. So, but that's not my business. My business is for a man to get his spine back, to feel what I felt. Look, bro, the reason I can teach abundantly and speak abundantly is because all I do is, from my teacher mode, I tap into the feeling and then I let the feeling speak. So I feel that. I feel unbreakable. I feel unshakable. Because I have a philosophy that won't break. We're mental creatures, man. Physically, anybody could beat me up. So what? So it's important to have courage. So here's my question. When do we see courage? Something must be happening for us to go, that's courageous, right? Because it's not courageous for me to go to the bathroom, but it might be courageous for me to stand up and speak my mind, right? Mm-hmm. What must be there for courage to exist? Something must be there. Would it be true if I said courage is only measured to the degree that fear must exist for people to go, that was courageous?
Yes.
That without fear, we can't even measure courage. Like, we know the fireman is courageous because he runs in the fire, because we don't run in the fire. Or the policeman, or whoever runs into danger, we measure their courage because we would be afraid during that time. And we can't say it's courageous if we don't measure fear. Someone said, did you see how courageous I was? What'd you do? Dude, I went to my car and I got the water out of the trunk. Well, why is that courageous? Because no, it's not. But if there was a tiger outside and there was a baby in a stroller and someone grabbed the baby and brought it back, you go, oh my God, how'd you do that? Because the tiger is so dangerous, right? Now, if the tiger became a pit bull, less dangerous, became a chihuahua, and then it became a worm, no more danger. To the degree there's fear of loss, courage shows up because you said you're afraid of a lot of things. And what I hear is you could be one of the most courageous men you've ever met if you just knew that. Because you're either giving into that fear or you're not. And if you're not, you must be using what I think is courage at that moment. Am I wrong? If I'm wrong, I'd like to know. If I'm right, I'd like to know. So have you ever thought about yourself as a courageous man, not a fearful man? Because courage can't exist without fear. Look at all the shit you're afraid of and still how much you do. People stop because they have that fear. You don't stop. So you must be more courageous than fearful. Yet your subconscious mind tells you you're fearful. So as long as you feel yourself as fearful, that'll be your experience of it. But it's just really though, you're doing everything. You're not in your house by yourself, not talking to anybody. You're not taking these risks and up. You're actually most likely the most courageous person you know in your life because nobody could take all the risks you took. They were afraid. They stayed very, because if you're traditional, you must come from a traditional family. That means traditional family all did what they were told. So you must be a rebel in your family. Are you a rebel? So if you became an uncle or if in the generations that come past you, 2-3 generations, when they look at your picture in the family tree, that was one of the most courageous people in our family. Not the most fearful, but he was aware enough to know about the fear and overcome it. Because fear, we all feel it. That's what I know. See, when I approach a beautiful woman, I feel the fear everybody feels. It's not that I don't. I also have much more courage than that fear could ever give me. I'm going to have to overcome inside to approach her. That jump, that story that I said, how I know what I know. I'm about to tell you something that's literally about that. I don't think too many people should have kids. But when you say that, I know you should have a kid. You don't have to take my word, but there's your indication. Like, even if you never thought about it, I told that man the same thing, the black man right there. Let's say, Monk Life Records president. So, when he said that, you would be a great dad. And we need kids. We just need responsible adults. Right. So we could have some kids and those adults can actually guide them. And you have best of both worlds. You're traditional, yet progressive. Courageous enough to challenge the tradition that didn't work. Right? Yet traditional enough to not lose yourself in the progression. I feel every word. Something in my brain does that. And so I got to make it clear because I think that's one of the reasons why it's my turn to be on podcasts, because there's this idea, some of these alpha guys that I see, right? Yeah. There's this idea that you have to break a man to make him. I never want to break a man. If I felt, just so you know, and these guys can vouch for it, if I felt at any point that your soul was in danger of being lessened, I would have not spoke. I got right to the edge. Didn't break you. All I did is wake you. I was just saying, hey, wake up. Hey, wake up. No, wake up. That's all I was saying. I wasn't trying to break you and you wake the fuck up. And you know how you know that? Because I woke you up to the fact that you're actually one of the most courageous people you know. That's a wake up. You were sleeping in fear. You woke up to courage. That's that. So I don't like when guys go and they break people down. Who's this guy we were just talking about? Elliot Halsall? No, Halsall? No. Remember that we were just talking about it?
Oh, Andy Elliott.
So he like, he looks good. I like the way he speaks. A lot of things I like about him. And then there's an underlying tone in all these guys. They kind of just talk down to people. I can't do that. Because, okay, so then there's another thing with Andrew Tate. I'm the smartest person that's ever been on the planet, and my highest intelligence will let you know, you little monkeys, that you are really not making enough money. I'm tired of men trying to break men down to lift them up. I grew up in the martial arts. That's how I was taught. Until I met a guy named Manu Tupo. He didn't break me down ever, but he did tell me the truth. He told me the truth, and it was different when I heard the truth. I couldn't sleep. Because here was a man who for the first time kept his integrity and didn't compromise anything. If I had never met him, I don't know if I Well, I definitely wouldn't be the way I am for sure, but I don't know if I would have ever, after him, I never saw that quality again until I looked in the mirror. I became that quality. I've yet to see a man stand that firm. Now, David Goggins stands firm. I mean, he's not shakeable. You know who one of my favorite people is that I want to give a shout out to? Wes Watson. I had a privilege of meeting a man they didn't meet. And the man I met didn't break me down. He lifted me up with his words. And it felt different. Every man comes because at some point he realizes that some reel of mine or video of mine spoke to his heart or to his mind, right? Some people that are very famous that you would know their names, they've come to me and they've been my students and they have the same problem everybody else has. Sometimes, no, honestly, I just realized their problems are worse. I've known some really high level people that are really broken in these relationships, dude. Mm-hmm. So normally that's the route someone comes, right? Mm-hmm. And then we get together every morning. And so we go out, that's why we're in Las Vegas. We go out every night and we test this philosophy in the world. Mm-hmm. What's the philosophy? Can I be this real as I am with you, with a beautiful woman, ready, who doesn't know me? And at the end of the interaction, she wants to know me more. She'll hang out with me later, potentially be my girlfriend. I believe that's such a high level of understanding and communication, because I do it, that if a man is capable of doing that, he'll be able to handle every relationship in his life. Because in order to do what I do is, you know, it's described as miracle. It's described as magic. I know it's a little bit like out of reality to say that right now, but that's why I invited the world to come and live with me and see for themselves the effects that I create in a social situation with the most beautiful women and men. And I don't mean like men want to fuck me or anything, but it's like, excuse my language, but they want to align themselves and get to know me and things like that, right? It's like a perfect movie character that I am because I designed the character. So our ultimate goal is the same goal as any philosopher of Stoicism, which is we work on our character. Mm-hmm. And we've realized, just like you're in my opinion, from what I've observed so far, just here, very clean, very honest, very ethical, intelligent, so many good qualities, right? And I would say those qualities are going to strengthen tremendously when you could face a beautiful woman and be able to transfer that feeling to her without her thinking you're a nice guy, they don't like that, without her thinking you're a pushover, without her thinking all the things that women think that's their defense mechanism to not get trapped in a bad relationship. So as great of a guy as you are, or the last guy in here, or the last guy in here, when it comes to transferring that to the woman, not only is it difficult, it's becoming impossible because of the way society is brainwashed. Yes. With feminism and all that stuff. So we go out there and we practice talking to women and men. Conversation. We are stoics in modern time. I'm doing my job and I'm good at it. And I think I'm a prophet of it. Honestly, I think I'm a prophet of game. That's how I see myself because I am in touch with God. I wouldn't say one word that doesn't come out of me. The red pill was great because it red pilled men. But then they went the wrong way. Do you know why? Because every movement gets infiltrated. IMC Nation won't get infiltrated. IMC Nation is only men. Did you know that? Mm-hmm. No women, no children allowed in my classes. Civilizations were built on men. Mm-hmm. So women could enjoy the fruits. Mm-hmm. She can enjoy the fruits of us building. You understand that? Her job is not to help us build. Her job is to take care of our children, to make our house warm. Why? Does she want to live in a cold house? No. Then here you go, baby, warm it up. Her job is to anchor us to God's softness. Her job is to show us there's a reason to pick up the sword and slay the dragon, because otherwise we just want to play video games. Mm-hmm. She's the greatest motivation I found on earth. And you asked me how I got into this. You know, I was such a martyr for martial arts. Like I gave my life to this damn thing, dude, until I picked up game. And the transition was difficult. There's a certain level that I was training at. So I can never say that I'm training unless I train at that level. Jake Shields, you know, like there's a great example. Like I'd be embarrassed to tell him that I'm a fighter. Like I'm not. He is. But it's not that I wasn't. There would have been a time, I don't care what name you said in front of me, I would have been able to fight. I'm not win, but I would have fought them. Yeah. But that's not me. This is what I do now. And that never leaves my soul. But I just admire it. Like I admire it right now. Oh man, because I know what it takes to be there, right? But game took over my life because I saw that women were the fastest evolution of man. They're the biggest fuel. We do everything for them. I do. Empires fall and go away because of it. Helen of Troy, Cleopatra, because of a woman. Right. We got to learn from history. We can't do that. Even today, They use women to blackmail the celebrities and the politicians. You can't blackmail me with a woman. How? What are you going to give me? A woman who's going to have sex with me? I got it. Better than you. I don't care who you hire. I'm going to go get one. I have the skills to meet a woman, get to know her, get her to know me. And since I know I'm a good human being, I'm a good character, and I'm a strong man, she may not like a bald tattooed guy. She may like a tall, handsome guy. She may like a black man. And who knows? Some girls like tattooed guys, right? So that's I'm going to go meet them. So I can't be blackmailed. And I think that's a big deal because blackmail, normally it's either money, and I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care about that. Or it's sex. It's not going to happen to me and my students. Nah. Yeah. You can't use sex against us. Sex is not a weapon against the man. That's where the world messed up. They started to say, she who has the vagina controls it, has the power. That's not true. The power is not even anything to... Stop talking about power when it comes to relationships. It's a word you don't use in a relationship. It's rude on the dinner table. Don't talk to me about my power in a relationship. You get it? Yeah. And that's the power of words. The power of words is that certain words should never be used. If I have a black friend, I'm never going to say, nigga, what's up? But if he's not there, I might say, nigga, what's up? To another guy. But it's out of respect for him, even though he wouldn't mind. But there are certain words I would never use in certain contexts. In front of my dad, I don't swear at all. I even wear long sleeve. I don't want him to see my tattoos. I wear a hat. No matter how hot it is, I wear a collar. He doesn't like my tattoos. He knows I'm tattooed. And what I'm saying is what I love about mankind. Everything I just said in the last 2 minutes, I love about mankind. I'm in love with the soul of man. And I'm powerful. And challenge me. Did you get that? I'm in love with the soul of man. And I'm powerful. Challenge me. So you see how strong I am. Challenge me philosophically anywhere, on any show, any time, any day. Don't pay me a penny. I don't care. But debate with me to find out why I fell in love with the soul of man. Because if you did too, then you might like yourself. Because I am man. And man means man, woman, man, mankind. All of us. I fell in love with the man soul, woman soul, child soul, old man soul, white man, black man, purple man soul. I fell in love with the soul of man. And it hurts when you fall in love with the soul of man. It's not comfortable because everywhere you look, he's suffering. You hear it in his voice. One of my exercises that I do by myself is at some point I sing a song and I imagine it's me and God. And I tell myself, the only way to heaven is if I gut my voice to him right now. And I don't care what it sounds like at that moment. But when I finish, it could be 30 seconds, it could be a minute. I sit back and I'm drained of energy. And I realize how much my voice was suffocated. Because for 30 seconds of really expressing myself, my heart beats so fast. And I sit there literally tired. In fact, prior to the show, that's what I did. And prior to any important, very important activity, which is what? Every night. Because there are no ordinary moments. This is another moment of my life. There's another moment of your, yeah, it's very beautiful. But if eating dinner tonight is less beautiful, then we messed up. Then we messed up, bro. We messed up. And how do you get beautiful women? You have a beautiful soul like me. You have a beautiful speech like me. How many people right now forgot I had tattoos? They don't see the laughter, but they're watching too and they forgot. They forgot that I look like this. I forget that I look like this. When I get a glimpse of myself in the mirror, I panic. I think I shouldn't be out. I'm not kidding with you. I get shy and I get nervous. Every night, at some point, I look at the stupid elevator that we get into. It's going to be either at Cosmo or Bellagio or some hotel. And that moment is always a trip when I walk in and I see I'm like, ugh. And then I look to the right and I see a side view. I look to the left, I see the side view. And I tell myself, damn, that's what everybody's looking at tonight. Okay. Keep that in mind when you're so free in your communication because you look scary, bro. But inside, I'm not like that. Inside, I'm like a 5-year-old kid. Inside, you and I are 5 and 7 going outside to kick the fucking soccer ball and then go buy some fucking, freaking basketball cards and then go sit down and watch Saturday morning cartoons or something and talk about which cereal we had. I never grew up. Did you? I didn't. I'm 47. I never did. I was watching Looney Tunes before I got here. I've been listening to the same music. Does anybody grow up? Is anybody out there? Am I the only traveler? Oh, are you listening to this shit also going, God, he's right. You're a kid. You're a kid. That 80-year-old guy's a kid. Do you remember Hugh Hefner? It's still chasing girls and still playing, living that life in his house, a theater. He's watching old movies of his childhood, listening to the same music, wearing a robe. He showed me that you could be 100 years old and you still want women like that. He was honest. Well, in that level, I heard he was kind of crooked, but so hopefully I'm that, because some people don't know who Hugh Hefner is. I have multiple girlfriends. I date whoever I want, because it's consensual. I don't lie to one woman at all. I'm proud of what I do. I get women because of my communication skills, my character, and I get the most beautiful women on the planet. And what does get mean? We get into a relationship where we start understanding each other and growing together. Love grows all the time. You're not the same next year. You got to be in communication and talk. You've met a man who's actually fulfilled on earth at 2024 in relationships. And so are my girlfriends, and they're fine. Okay? Now, what are you going to do with that? I'm either lying or I'm honest. If I'm telling you the truth, you need to confront your life tonight. And if I'm lying, then let's find out. Let's find out. Prove me wrong.